hit me in a tough spot right there.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, but don't worry about it because the one thing about
we
my
always
crew,
make people cry on the Laws of Life podcast.
And because my mom was giving up, and then to me, in my heart, she gave me up.
Where did you sleep at night when you were homeless?
In my car.
It's just the pain that was caused by separation with your dad. You don't want them to be sexual?
No. No. And I'm going to say my number one law of life is to always be me.
Welcome to the Laws of Life podcast. I'm your host, Blanca, and today my guest is a woman that created her YouTube channel at the age of 50, has attracted thousands of followers from a variety of different audiences, but most importantly, has a heart for community. Everybody meet my friend, Queen.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, Blanca. How are you?
I'm just so excited that you're here, that you're my new friend. And Queen and I met at the Relief Alliance Award ceremony on Saturday night in West Palm Beach. And one of the reasons that I immediately wanted to connect with you was your fashion. Because you were wearing this camo, exercise, combo, casual, sexy outfit with these combat boots, heels. And I was like, all right, I have to say hello to that woman.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I did.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much for noticing that about me. I did come kind of combat style. I had on my army fatigue socks. I had on probably some tan brown shoes and probably a Durban full of arminess in it. So I just come as I are.
I love that. So my law of life that we came up with yesterday was when you see someone with a glow, say hello. And you definitely have a very special glow, and we've shared a lot of stories. But let's start, we always start at the beginning. Where did you grow up, Queen?
I actually grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. My dad and mom married there, and I didn't remember much at that age because they divorced when I was 3 years old. So I remember from a little girl just bits and pieces even of Florida because my mom and dad separated at 3 and we moved to Florida.
So did you live with your mother or your father?
I started off with my mom. My mom and dad was together until I was 3, and then probably around about 6 years old, I got shipped off to dad. About 5 years old, I went to dad.
And why was that?
I have no clue.
Are your parents still alive?
No. My mom passed away in April of 2010. My dad is still living, and he lives in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. And are you close with your dad?
My dad and I, we were very, 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 very close. But, you know, as the saying goes, when you get another woman in the room, maybe 2 of them can't stand the same heat. So as a little girl, I don't think my stepmom really adored me, you know, as being an only girl, being raised by my dad. She came in his life, and she didn't have any children. So I think over time, I think that might have brought a little bit of bearing between us.
That's really, really tough when you are a child in a home where the stepmother doesn't really have that nurturing maternal instinct. Did you feel unloved because of that relationship that your father had with your stepmother? Because I can see you're a little emotional. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing.
Yeah, you hit me in a tough spot right there.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, but don't worry about it because the one thing about
my crew... We always make people cry on the Laws of Life podcast.
And one thing about my crew, hey, y'all, big ups to you too. They already know. That's why I have a men-only man cave, and I need my men because they're strong enough to handle my tears and my intense parts of me. So I have my man cage because those men are the ones that I can really lean on, and they don't judge me because they have their own intensity too because they're men, and nobody knows how to break that down from them. So when I'm talking to a man, I feel like the intensity and then the softness and sweetness amongst us two becomes genuine because I feel like I understand them, and a lot of times I feel like my men understand me. I have insatiable, I have jug, and I can continue.
So we're gonna get there. But let's go back to the stepmother.
Correct.
So did your stepmother make you feel unloved.
Yes, she
And
made me feel very unloved because my dad, who I was used to talking to every day, having dinner with every Saturday, he and my brothers, we were raised up like that. He became a merchant seaman in the military, so he worked for the Navy. And back then, my dad traveled on the ships, and he go when the war became between Saudi Arabia. I think that's what it was. My dad was gone, and like a lot of our connections stopped at that point. So I didn't get any of that attention from her because I felt like she never had a kid before, she didn't understand how to love someone unconditionally without the relationship getting
you,
to know part.
there are some people that have that gift of connection for children, and there are some people that
Correct.
don't. And I mean, a child can love you in 1 minute if you show the child love. But how many years was it just you living with your stepmother and your siblings with your dad being overseas?
That was pretty much like a few years. Yeah,
Wow.
and I was young then as well. So maybe 5 or 6 years into her meeting my dad, she came in, and years after that, maybe 3 years
So what were
apart.
those couple years like with your dad in the military, and how many siblings were also living in the home with you and your stepmother?
I'm an only girl. My dad raised me. I'm an only girl with my two older brothers. So I had my two brothers, but it wasn't the same because as being an only girl, the conversations would never be the same. So it was definitely lonely because, she was on one side of the town and I was in the room where I belonged. But my brothers were together as boys. They can relate to conversations and Nintendo and Sega and things like that. That was very prevalent back then.
So you didn't have a very solid connection to this woman that was in charge of the household that you were in. How did she treat you? What was life like with her?
How she treated me was no treatment. So I think people would think, going into a household with someone that doesn't care for you or doesn't have those feelings and views about you, some people would think, oh, they must have mistreated, because that's the normal things that you hear coming from a kid that's been adopted or in foster care or just lived with a stepmom. But the difference with me was it had nothing to do with physical. It had everything to do with mental and just heart and emotionally. She didn't talk, she didn't speak, she wasn't the person that, wanted to take me to get my hair done, which my dad took me every Saturday to make sure I had hair done. He sat and listened to me talk. That's why I was telling you about my men. I was talking about the men because I was able to talk to my dad about everything. And so with my man cave, I caved into them to understand that. But go ahead.
Do you think that because of what happened with your stepmom and because you are definitely a daddy's girl, that is why you feel more you trust men more than women?
I trust men more than women because one thing about men, they can't fool me. That's why I could trust them, because I can see them. I can see just who they are from what they show me from the beginning. So there's nothing to fool at that point, because I've dealt with my dad, beautiful. I mean, handsome, 6'7" guy, brothers, handsome. I mean, that's what got me through school. The dad got my brothers through school, and my brothers got me through school because everybody wanted to be my friend because of my brothers and because of my dad.
So your brothers were very popular,
Very.
and they were
Basketball and football players.
basketball and football
Yes.
players. Yeah, those athletes always get to be popular.
Oh.
I had to fake asthma in gym. Like I was not athletic, okay? So going back, so high school, what was that like?
Um, High school was hard for me. It was hard for me because at some point when I got like in the 8th grade, I started gravitating back to Florida, and because I wasn't sure if I was going to just stay in Florida or go back to Charleston, South Carolina. But what ended up happening is I started some part of the 9th grade in Florida, and I just fell dead on the inside. But when I got back to South Carolina from the other part of the 9th grade up until in the 10th grade, it was like it's like I just couldn't pick the attachment back up again.
What do you mean?
Um, well, because the whole time I was with my dad, that's what I knew. And I knew attention, and I knew conversation. and I knew dinners, and that was being raised by a man that taught me a woman's side of etiquette. And when I came to Florida, I started detaching because I couldn't attach to anybody that was around me. So I detached from them. But I think what also happened, I detached on the inside of me also. So I lost that everything I had in Carolina, which didn't have anything to do with the kids I hung with. It had everything to do with the way I was being raised up in the house with all of these men. So once I got back, it just seemed like everything was so different because my dad wasn't there. He was still overseas. It was still the same stepmom. My grandmother passed away, and my brothers were basically going away to college. So them leaving, that for me, the house was empty. And that house wasn't just that building with four walls and a roof. It was the house right here too, and that triggered it from there.
That's definitely one thing you have taught me in the short time we've known each other, is that you look at your body,
That's
your
right.
soul, as the building.
That's right.
And at that point, the building felt empty and
It
dark.
was empty. It was empty from a person coming from so much heart, coming from so much light, coming from so much pizzazz. Like I could walk in the room, like anything came in our house, it had to come through me because my dad was like, okay, what did you want? He made us every Tuesday write out a list for grocery. I was in control of that list. We got our first kitchen table because my dad built our house from his hands. I picked out that kitchen table. And so that attachment with the conversations and the listening to me, and my dad would just listen to me talk and ask questions, and it was like he had me on a debate. But I loved it. It was just a different conversations with emotions, but no emotions.
You
And
had intellectual conversations. Your
Yes.
father cared about your opinion. Is that connection with him still there today?
No.
Do you want it to be?
I'm not sure.
Obviously, your dad going to the military was a choice he made to protect our country.
Right.
But do you still feel angry at him for leaving him with your stepmother? Is that
I
the
feel
root
angry
cause,
at him.
or?
I don't necessarily feel angry at him in that aspect of the stepmother. I think I feel angry at him because he always showed me how strong he was, and he showed me that me and my brothers came first. And I felt like when he didn't realize that the wrong woman was the choice, because that might not have been by God, when he didn't realize that, I feel like he didn't put his feet down and say that it's not just about me, it's about me and my children. That's why I have my children from my ex-wife. He didn't set boundaries. It was like it wasn't the family aspect, not just the children, because at then I didn't know about the attachment between wife or whoever. All I knew was I just got stripped of my mother, and I did not know why. So anything in those moments for me to attach to is what I was looking for, because even the times that I remember with my mom always held my hand, and she was another one. She always listened to me because I'm her oldest daughter.
Of course.
Hmm.
Well, it sounds like you didn't really approve of the woman that he married.
I didn't approve of his behavior because he didn't stand up and stay firm as a man.
And
As a
tell
man,
her
as
how to.
he's
But you
correct.
can't take a person, in my opinion. Let's debate this.
Correct.
But there are some people, like I said, that have a gift to connect with children.
Correct.
And some people that they just don't have that natural love
And right
for
there,
children. Like that little girl that was in the studio yesterday with us, if she would have said, "Will you take my daughter home?" I would be like, "Heck yes, I'm taking her home," because she,
So let me ask you a question. If that little girl asked you, can I go home with you? And you told her yes. If your significant other that you love your necklace for,
right?
if he did not approve of that little girl coming home with you, where would you have been with him right now? Would you still be holding on to that necklace, or would you grab this little girl?
That's a really,
See, that's why I say you have to,
That's so
there's two
tough.
sides to an earth. There's this side and that side. There's two sides to a heart, just like we have two eyes and we have two nostrils. And what I seen in my dad, I never seen or felt that type of weakness. So even for a woman to come in and make me feel like you broke my dad,
Yes.
that is the other side to it that people have to understand. That's why it's not always about physical. And that's where I get intense in conversations, because it's always another side to it. And that same little girl that you would never have been able to answer to, especially had you told her no. Imagine how she would have felt growing up knowing that you're the woman that she attached to, and this was the man that I've always loved, but you chose. See,
Yeah.
so the other side for me as being that little girl, you can only speak if you were that little girl or if you were that little boy. But
No,
as
of
me
course.
being that little girl, I felt like my daddy, because he chose me over letting me stay with my mom for whatever reason he had to come and get me.
And then didn't give you what you needed.
Exactly. There you go. Because he
No,
already
I get it.
he already defeated one woman.
Yes.
But now we have another woman that you couldn't defeat. So as me being that little girl, from my side of it, and to any other little girls out there, you have the right to feel this way.
This is why divorce is such a difficult thing. Because, I mean, being divorced myself,
Right.
my kids did not particularly like the first boyfriend after my divorce. In fact, they didn't like him at all. And eventually we broke up.
But how did you feel about that boyfriend?
I've actually, sometimes my kids are smarter than me. I listen to them because they're very perceptive.
Right.
And
Was that time a good one?
they have good, that was a while ago. That was a couple of years back. But they said that he was very controlling, very bossy.
Correct.
And they said, why are you like letting this man boss you around so much?
Correct.
Why? I looked at it as guidance. I saw the positive side of it. But in the end, I guess you could say, you know, obviously you have to follow your own heart. And I
Right.
made the choice to break up. It's not easy. It's
Right.
not easy having children. But I definitely could not be with someone that didn't have a loving heart.
Exactly.
Right? So why your dad is so warm, from what you say, loving, engaging, conversational. Did you ever say to him, why are you with that woman and why is she so cold to me? And can you talk to her and have her be a little bit kinder?
He knew that, because one thing about it, when there's a distance in the house where there's no visitations and you know this is your only daughter, sometimes less said gave you all the answer. That's
good.
why. And then on top of that, one thing that I expected more from my dad is because my mom and dad both were adopted. And because my
Wow.
mom was given up, and then to me, in my heart, she gave me up. But when I looked at it, and I always tried to get the positive out of it, I said, but wait, hold on. Even though my mom gave me up, she didn't beat the trend, and she didn't stop that generational whatever it was. But I looked at my dad again as a bigger person, because to me, he stopped that generational whatever it was, because he said, no, I was giving up. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my children and make sure that they know that I'm going to fight for them and I'm going to keep them no matter which way we have to live. So to bring a woman in, you showed me that you really did not
Right.
uphold what you were supposed to. You upheld it long enough, and then it was, you're letting me know you were adopted and it was okay, and you never got over that. So I looked at, trust me, I looked at both sides of it.
So now, after high school ends, where does your life go from there?
After high school ended, I was living with someone, and I felt like he didn't fight for me either, because, you know, everybody always look, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she dressed so nice, and whatever the case may have been back then, I felt like this young man, I felt like he allowed his sisters and his mom to kind of mistreat me the same way, so I left him as well. Because right then and there, I'm battling of where do I belong? I mean, I lost my where am I supposed to be at a long time ago.
What would you say is the greatest adversity you've overcome in your entire life?
Finding me and understanding what me mean. And me means a lot to me. When I say God, me, and that's a G-O-D apostrophe M-E, it means a lot to me because I'm blessed and highly favored. Because when I personally say God, me, my last name is Miller and my first name is Idrika. When I say God, M, like us black folk do, that means God, Idrika Miller. So no matter which way I put God, me, no matter which way I put God M, it still comes back to me. And that's why me is very, very important for me. So finding who I am made the biggest difference in the world to me. It took me to get 50, but I've been blessed a long time.
It does take a while to find me.
Yeah.
It's a sculpture in progress.
There's some people still don't know who me is.
Absolutely. Takes a lot of tests, a lot of tests. So after that boyfriend that you broke up with, were there many more boyfriends or did you go into marriage next?
No, after that boyfriend, I pretty much went homeless. I got homeless, but nobody knew. I had a car that I was paying for, and I just floated through life. Few years after that, I started dating my husband.
All right, before you go into that chapter,
Mhm.
where did you sleep at night when you were homeless?
In my car.
Oh, so your car became your home.
Yeah.
And how many months did you sustain that?
Oh man, probably a year. I used to go to a park called Pompey Park, and I used to go in and I used to take a shower and stuff and get ready for work.
So you still had a job
Yes.
even when you were homeless.
I had to because nobody wasn't gonna feed me.
So what were you doing?
What time?
job?
I was working at a telephone company job. Matter of fact, me and one of my cousins, who hopefully you'll be able to meet soon, we've been through a lot together, but her and I worked at a job together, so I would pick her up for work every day, and she didn't know.
Looking back on that chapter in your life when you were homeless, what's the number one law of life you learned from that experience?
From that experience, the number one law of life I think I learned from that experience was learn the law of life. Learn the law of life because that's one thing I didn't know, because my generation coming up back then, our parents didn't really, they tried to teach us the law of life, but they were going through their own thing. So I wish, honestly, I knew even a law of life. So anybody can say, well, the law of life I would have learned was to try to keep a job and have a car. Okay, I had that. The law of life what is try to keep in touch with your family. Okay, I had that. The law of life is know your first and last name. I had that. Your license is valid? I had that. So those things, I had those things, but I didn't know what the law of life even meant to even look back then and say that, other than to learn what the law of life was.
Were you depressed during this period of time? Did you have depression?
I
Anxiety?
I didn't know what depression was. All I know is I was always lonely. It didn't matter where I was at, I was lonely. I felt like a tall person that literally, I always said Mercury, Mars, and Saturn. And I figured out I'm actually from Saturn. So I was lost just like, yes, I was lost just like that until I used to go out the door and look at these lines in my hand. And when I look at my hands, I would say what I need to say. And then I look up and I say, I'm telling y'all what I'm talking about. And that was the only connection I had with me, life, anything. And that's how I grew up, by going in my hands, talking in my hands, looking up to the sky. And it used to be times I'll stump my feet, and it seems like 2 days later, I had it. And that's how I honestly lived. It sounds, anybody that understands that type of life, that's how I live, because I was lonely in the woods.
During the year you were homeless, did you use drugs or alcohol
I've
to
never
cope?
did.
Never.
Never.
So you've
Never.
always had a clean mind.
Yes.
So that clean mind is a blessing.
That's a blessing.
A big blessing.
Yes, because listen, in Charleston, South Carolina, the way I was growing up with my dad. See, my dad, whether he was home or not, if my dad told you don't do it, that there's no 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 times. Don't do it. But even if my dad is not around and he said don't do it, I had an older brother who was only 2 years older than me, and then I had another brother who was 1 year older than me. The answer is don't do it, and that's the end of it. So I was never in an arena where I can see people doing things like that, because I was only allowed to go to the basketball court when my brothers were there. So I was very isolated, even in school. The boys wouldn't even talk to me.
Well,
One guy said I was too tall.
You were sheltered.
Yes.
So in that way, there were obviously some really good positive influences on your mindset and the person
Yes,
you've become today.
that's what kept me going because of the way that my dad had raised me.
He was strict, military guy,
Right,
strict.
but you know what? It's strict to who think that's strict because me already being raised up in the house, strict to someone that's just getting into whatever it is you need to get into in the house is strict to them. But for me, it was regular day living.
Do you think that obviously your father had a strict anti-drug, anti-alcohol policy? He embedded that within your moral fiber,
And he
and you've
didn't.
never violated it.
But he never did. My daddy drunk his beer. He liked Crown Royal. Hey, Crown. He, and I still listen. I got
So he didn't say, if you ever come home with
No.
alcohol, I'm gonna.
Back then, you know what? Honestly, back then, certain things that people do these days, it wasn't, they knew not to even do it in the streets. What you did in your house is your business in your house. Don't bring it out the door. And it literally was like that without being said. It's almost like in the community, if you have a grandmother here, I don't have to know who your grandmother is. Just don't do it. And it was strict in my area like that.
Were you offered drugs? Did people
No.
ask you? You weren't even offered.
I was sheltered. They were scared of my dad and my brothers. I mean,
Okay.
they were
Fair
scared.
enough. So then we go into the chapter where you get married. Tell us about that. How did you meet?
I met in Delray. There was a function on Atlantic Avenue, and he came up to the car, and we started talking. And I'm like, he was giving me his phone number, and I had one of my sisters get the number, and I pulled off. And he messaged me that time of the morning. We had beepers then. And I called back on the beeper, and he gave me a nickname, and I hung the phone up. I'm like, no, don't give me a nickname. And I hung up until I got the right name, which was probably like 3 weeks later.
Is he tall?
Yes, like about 6'3.5".
So how long did you date him until you got married?
Probably about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, so you were together quite some time.
Oh, about 31 years.
31
Yes.
years. So what was the happiest memory from that marriage for you?
I think the happiest memory from that day was the day I got married. Yeah, I think having my son and daughter.
Nice.
I think might have been having my son first, but here's the thing. It was the happiest day from that marriage because when I was pregnant with my son, that was not a good pregnancy. I was nauseous. I couldn't eat anything. It was a miserable thing. But when I had my son, I just knew I got hungry instantly. I was ready to eat. And I promise you on the inside, that was like, because it seemed like that was a misery, honestly, that almost kind of took me back to what I used to go through. Yeah, if that makes sense for me. That's how I felt on the inside.
So what kind of husband was he?
He was a husband.
Well, I mean, was he a good provider? Was he a good cook? Was he romantic? Was he affectionate? What were the likes and not like so much?
The likes were, let me think about what the likes were. He loved my cooking.
You're a good cook?
Yeah, his mom is as well. Very, very good cook.
What did you like about him?
That he loved my cooking.
What else?
What else I loved about him?
That's more him liking you, but
yeah. But I like that too.
It made you happy to give him a good meal.
Yeah, because anybody that know me, they know I'm honestly a cook. They know me for cooking.
Maybe you can teach me a few things in the kitchen because I literally have a cooking disability.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't even make microwave popcorn. It's bad.
Now,
it's it's bad.
It's okay. You might be worse than me. You know, I might be worse than you because I don't know how to make popcorn. Like that's so far easy to me. That's so hard to me. And I just recently learned how to make grits.
Oh, wow.
But I cook everything else. But grits and popcorn, I probably am worse than you.
I literally almost set our house on fire 2 nights ago.
So you're
not
worse
kidding.
Than me.
I'm bad. But my mother always told me, stay out of the kitchen and go study. I don't need you in the kitchen. I need you in the library getting a degree. So they kicked me out of the kitchen. So it's not my fault.
Okay.
But going back, what did you like about your husband?
I really, honestly, it sounds like a joke, but I really appreciated that he loved my cooking. Because when I cook, I honestly, truly, I cook from the heart. And it's not just that I cook from the heart. I don't eat. I truly, really don't eat soul food. But I cook soul food. honestly from the soul, and I can look at it and I know if it's seasoned right. But I really love the fact that he loved my food,
Well,
because that
that's
is a
nice.
true love for me. That's being honest.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's like a deep extension of
it
your
is.
soul.
It is, because his mom, when she cooked, everybody knows her for driving a school bus and cooking, and she really is the one that opened up the doors of seasoning to me. And that was when I cook in the kitchen, I just get in a whole new era of me. And
Wow.
because I
You might
know
need your own line of seasonings. Like if that's really your
it
passion,
is.
I see you having your own, cooking line,
I tried to
writing a
go.
book on soul food. Like I
Listen,
see it. Can you see it?
yeah, listen, I got about 3 cookbooks that I created myself. I created 5 barbecue sauces, but I had a restaurant, and I was trying to, Walmart back then had a thing called Get on the Shelf. So I came up with grandma's old fashioned stuffing or old fashioned dressing. I had a guy do the commercial for me and everything. I literally learned how to cook dressing from scratch through my mother-in-law, between her dressing, between her macaroni and cheese and her sweet potato pies. She feel I took the recipe, like I took it to a whole nother level of, she really won't eat it from anybody but me.
Wow.
Honestly, but what she don't know deep down in my heart, she opened up the door. Even though Walmart didn't put me on the shelf, I said, okay, Walmart, I'm gonna get you. But those products like that, from her, it opened up the door of why I honestly love to cook. And I honestly love to watch her cook, because she cooked with love. She eat her cooking. I just don't, because I don't really like soul food, but because I watched her cook it with love, I know when it's seasoned right, over seasoned, without even tasting it.
Do you still talk to your mother-in-law despite the divorce?
No,
Oh, it sounds like she had such a positive influence
she
on you.
did.
Why not? She doesn't want to be friends, or?
No, not that. I think it goes back to that thing where my dad and his wife, where you let a person take you to another side, and when that person takes you to another side, you honestly leave who you are, and you forget about the core values that you honestly had. Like, her love for cooking isn't the same, her love for eating isn't the same anymore. Like,
well, going back
yeah.
to the husband,
Mhm.
what are some other things you liked about him? What were his best qualities as a man?
Well, another one of his best qualities are, he honestly loved to see me dressed up.
So he admired you. He made you feel beautiful.
Yeah, he did. Listen, and it doesn't matter if I have the afro braided to the back, if I have whatever. He just really loved to see me walk in the room, and he always say that you look good, baby.
That is a great feeling. Like all women love that. Like that's an important quality.
Oh yes, because one thing about it, I love walking in anybody's room.
Absolutely. The way a man looks at a woman can change everything
It
in that
does.
relationship.
And that's how
And he
my
better not slack, or I'm suing him for negligence.
and that's how my dad, listen, that's for negligence, and that's how my dad was. We need to work on that, lady, suing for negligence. And negligence come from the heart too, because North Carolina have something like that going on. But my dad was like that too. Like, he would, like, I can remember the time when we bought the first kitchen table. He laid down the granite floors and everything, and so we went and we put a kitchen table in there. And so I was sitting there with the list, telling everybody what we need to have, what time we're going to meet back up, what we're going to talk about. And like, if my brothers interrupt, my dad, like, wait a minute, she's talking. He wanted to hear me to the end of the conversation, and I love that. I love it. So for my happily separated husband, we're not divorced yet, but
Okay.
but for him, just me walking in the room, it was like, it doesn't matter who else in the room, he gonna find me and he gonna walk me to sit down, just because
So
he loved.
so just like your dad, he knew
Yes.
how to pay attention. He was present.
They paid homage to the queen.
Focus.
Yes,
Focus.
and I
Focus.
loved it. Yes.
Very important quality.
Yes.
So you have 2 children,
Mhm.
and 31 years is an awfully long
Yeah.
time. So why did it end, if I may ask?
It ended. There's a history behind it ending, because it honestly didn't
There
start with
always
him.
is.
Yeah, it honestly didn't start with him ending it. But before I answer that, can I say another good thing that I got out of the
Sure.
marriage? I want to tell you something else that I got out of the marriage that was very good.
Please.
I really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, and I put my left hand there to it. I got out the marriage. I was blessed that I didn't have to bring I didn't have to bring a stepmom in or a stepdad. And I raised my kids to, if they ever, when it's their time, they're going to know how to treat a kid, whether it's theirs or not. Because after that, I raised a lot of kids. So from that marriage, I was grateful to pretty much end it. And my kids were blessed enough, whether people understand it or not, they were blessed enough to be black kids that were raised up in the house with a mother and a father that did whatever they needed to do to make sure that that experience they will have on their heart until they can't take it away. So that was very important to me. Very, very important.
That's
Very.
why I'm so glad you shared your childhood, because that whole situation influenced you. Now, do you think that you stayed in the marriage longer than you may have ordinarily chosen to because you did not want to have a stepmother in their life?
Yes.
So, if you could go back in time and your kids turned out exactly like they are now, what year in the marriage would you have ended it?
Probably before I got married.
So you spent 31 years with this man. What was the breaking point that you said, I'm done?
The breaking point. The breaking point when I said I was done, it wasn't the marriage. The breaking point was in June of 2022. I walked out my door and I looked up and I noticed things start changing with me. And I just looked up in the sky randomly, just out of the blue, and I said, I'm asking you to take everybody from my past. And I said, everybody. And within seconds, I tried to change it and say, I don't mean everybody. I mean, because I knew in my heart, I knew I have a different connection with my tongue. So I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And I couldn't take it back.
So you just basically spoke it.
I spoke it just like that.
Emulated from your soul,
Yeah.
and you basically said
Yeah.
to the universe, I'm complete with this relationship.
It
So
wasn't a relationship. I was complete with people.
with everyone.
I said, when I walked out the door, I said, I want you to remove. I said, just remove. And I went to giggling. I said, just remove everybody from my past.
Not including your children.
I just said the word everybody. I didn't even think I was going to be walking out the door to say it. But I said everybody.
Why? Why did you want to disconnect?
I didn't even have an answer.
Something must have happened.
And I've thought about that too. I think on the inside of me, when God ready for you, it doesn't matter whether something happened or not. It's going to happen. And I didn't have anything, there was nothing going on that day because this was in June. I had my own trucking company. I wasn't upset with anyone because I really didn't really deal with anybody anyway. Business always is stressful. So I can't pinpoint anything in particular because.
So he didn't cheat on you?
No, I didn't never go through that.
He wasn't abusive.
Listen, I've never had an altercation with another woman. If my husband cheated, they would have to come to me and say that we've met before. And I can put my soul there. I've never been through with another woman. So if he did cheat, the respect was, it never crossed my front door.
It sounds like you basically had a spiritual awakening and you made a choice that you wanted to travel the path alone.
Correct, because I walked out the door and I just said literally out loud, I said, remove everybody from my past. I had nobody in particular that I was thinking about. So about a week and a half later after I said that, I was going to a function in South Carolina with a cousin. And when I got there, my dad was there and I hadn't heard from my dad in a couple of years. And he invited me to church that Sunday, Royal Baptist Church. And that's a church that my grandma helped founded. And the pastor was preaching, and it's some things that the pastor said, and I'm gonna drop that link in my description, but it was some things that the pastor said, and it made me, my dad sat on the end, I sat in the middle, and the wife sat on the other end. And when I first sat down, the first thing I said was, now my dad know that I don't fool with this lady. Why didn't he just get in the middle. When I sat in the middle and the pastor went to preaching and he said what he said, I immediately grabbed her hand. And when I grabbed her hand, just out of the blue, me and her never talked or anything, we never touched. I just out of the blue grabbed her hand and I looked at her. And I tell people when I start crying, if my tears are warm, that means you hit me to the bottom of my heart, all the way down to the crease right there. That's how deep you hit me. And I started, those tears got really, really warm. And I told her, I said, if I've ever, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart, if I've ever done anything if I've ever done anything to hurt you, I told her from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. And she told me, okay, she forgive me.
This is your stepmother?
Yes.
But shouldn't she also apologize to you?
She should have, because I don't know what I ever did, but long as I cleared my heart, that was a passage. And I don't even know why I did it, because remember, about a week and a half earlier, I said, remove everybody. So maybe I started removing the first person out my heart that I never cared about, but bothered me the most. That's how I end up interpreting that when I left the church.
You know,
I know I'm intense.
Oh no, I love it. Don't ever change, please.
I can't.
It's just the pain that was caused by the separation with your dad is obviously still inside.
Yeah, because I was separated from my mom first.
What is your advice? Have you overcome the pain,
Yeah.
or is it on a scale of 1 to 10? How intense is the pain today?
The only time the pain gets intense for me today is when I start speaking and I know in my heart there's someone else out there that probably has gone through it as well, and they need to find from the bottom of their heart how to get it up and keep going up and keep going up, then slap it back down to the bottom till it leave out the heart. And that's what I do. And I get intense talking about it because it just feel like I'm talking to someone that hear me and they've gone through it too, and they didn't know how to get to that pain.
I gotta say, that is got to be one of the hardest things to go through.
Oh my God, the transition is hard.
What's your advice to young people out there right now that are living with a step parent that doesn't give them the love for whatever reason that they really need?
The first advice that I would give someone that young, if there is anyone out there, even if it's a close friend, I don't care if it's even if it's a best friend, even if it's a cousin, because I had a cousin that two of them, Nikki and my cousin Tamika, I could tell them anything. And guess what? And when I tell them anything, because they felt my heart, long as they cried with me and I got it out, it gave me another chance to go forward again and just say, yeah, bump her. Oh, forget her, and tell someone how you feel, regardless to whether there's a family dynamic. So don't talk my business. Tell someone. Tell someone. Why? Because right now, today, if either one of those cousins ever watch this, they're going to know from their heart that I'm telling the truth, because I did tell someone. And people always say, did you tell anyone? No, I didn't tell anyone. Tell someone, whether they can help you or not. Still just say it, because it gives you another piece of space in the heart.
Absolutely. It's so important to talk to people that you can trust and that you love, and not an easy situation.
It's not.
So how are you feeling now in your separation status, soon to be divorced phase? Does it feel right?
It felt right 2 weeks after I apologized to the stepmom, which I've never called her a stepmom before. But on July 1st of 2022 is when I walked in the house, and I just stood to the doorway and I just told my husband that I think we need to separate. It really was one of those things where, okay, did you just walk in the house and say something like that? I just walked in the house and I said something like that. Why? It wasn't an argument or a spat, but I was doing loads for a company and he was late on the load, and I called him and I said, oh, you were late on the load. Why were you late? Because I needed to write it down so that I can send it in to them, or they'll tag you and stop you from getting loads. So unfair. But anyway, And he kind of got snappy with me and he hung the phone up. And I took a deep breath and I'm like, did he just hang up on me? And I don't know. I just went into this, oh, okay, I'm going to get something. I got that. And I eased home, which was about maybe 2 miles later. I went in the room, put my things down, and then I came out and came back in, and I just said what I said.
How do you feel today being single?
I feel good being detached from that marriage. Being single for me is not a feeling for me because I'm not a single person. I'm a person that honestly enjoy marriage, even if it's that marriage of commitment from here. Because someone had to teach me that it's not about the paper, it's about how you feel in the heart. Our government gave us paper.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're really with the right person, you're attached in the heart, and there's no detachment there because you're finding it in the heart, and it's gonna be hard to let that go. But I feel good being detached from that marriage that wasn't for me. But I am an attachable person because I like being married. Period. I love getting up,
But right now you're not married.
Exactly.
You're separated.
Right.
So do you feel more whole now that you asserted this journey for
Yes.
yourself?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and are you happier now?
I'm happier being detached from a marriage, but I still go through loneliness because there is someone out there for me because I could feel it.
Absolutely. So you're open?
I'm always open. I just don't like being, I wasn't happy being in a marriage that wasn't for me. I want to be remarried by the heart.
Yes.
Because there is someone out there for me because I feel it and I know it. Like nobody can take it from me. So I love cooking. I love fixing plates. I love cleaning up my own kitchen. I love doing those things. I love watching a man get dressed up and look sexy, sassy, and classy like that, even if it's just a pair of regular clothes and I'm dressed up. So I know there's someone out there for me because I can feel it.
So about a year ago,
Mhm.
you started your own YouTube channel.
Oh, yes.
At the age of 50.
49 then.
49.
Yeah.
You knew nothing about social media, nothing about technology. What was it inside of you that ignited you to become a content creator?
I told y'all I got a story for you all. When I was in the 3rd grade, it was a news anchor. Her name was Karen Greer. And there was another young lady. Her name was Katrina McLean. It was my principal's daughter. His name was Mr. McLean. And I always had this dream and vision that Karen Greer, the news anchor, she used to hold that mic and she say what she had to say. So I already knew that I was meant for TV. And Katrina McLean played basketball. She was one of the first Black American women that, if I'm not mistaken, she played in Japan because WNBA wasn't here. And I knew that I could get it in WNBA because it was literally just hitting the United States. And I knew it. I knew that it was destined for me. So there was 2 paths and I never knew it. I said, yeah, I'll play basketball because I had my life mapped. Because I used to talk in my hand and I look up and I say, this is what I want. And I love Karen Greer because I love the classiness. I love like, okay, talk girl, everybody looking at you because I'm used to stand. I don't know who all I stood in front of talking as a little talking girl like I am now.
So you always looked up to journalists. You wanted to be on TV.
Yes, but I also wanted to play basketball because I was very good at basketball as well. So I knew that I just knew I was going to have both of those paths. I knew it.
Okay.
So
you're 49 years old. You've had this dream of always being on television.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm going to do it myself.
No, because I already knew it. I think that's why I stayed away from social media. I got so blacked out in life because with the stepmom, she sent me away from South Carolina, but I was destined to go play basketball. So that crushed all my dreams. So I stopped with the basketball. I never looked back at it. I don't even watch the women basketball players right now because of this. And then the TV thing, I'm like, forget it. I'm like, I can't be bothered. People around here locally, they listen to
Right.
me and so forth and so on. But something happened to me last year. I started recording all of these videos because I go to the casino. And one of the places allowed me to record my slot play. And a young lady ambushed me, hit me, pretty much beat me up, and people would not believe it. I let this little young lady, about 5'2", 25 years old, beat me up and just pushed me and scratched me across my back. And I went to tell on her, and the officer came. He just treated me bad, told me to get out his face, just whatever. And he didn't give me the case number, so I turned back around to get the case number, and they arrested me for trespassing, for getting the case number. And about 2 weeks later, she told a LIE on me and told the people that I came to her job and fight her. I never knew this girl, never met her before a day in my life. I got arrested,
After
and I
being
sat
a
on
victim.
house arrest all last year and didn't know nothing about nothing, didn't have nobody to talk to. It was so horrible until I picked up my cell phone one day and I just sat there and I didn't even know how to record. All I know is YouTube allowed me to upload whatever I put there. And I just told the people my story. I told them how they, Broward County Police Department, falsely arrested me. I'm on house arrest. And I just told a story. And from me telling that story, something just told me to keep recording because YouTube said all I had to do was hit the plus. And I hit the plus like YouTube said. And I just started telling my story. And from there, I stand up. I like to have on my heels or without. And I stand up like a bird. And I may stand up like this. And I stand on one leg. And I did that consecutively. I told everybody on my channel every day until I go back to court, I'm going to do a video of standing on one leg. And I started doing that. And I started doing all my stands and stuff because I do stuff like that. My mom was a cheerleader. And then I got this small tripod and I just kept escalating and escalating from there. And I started picking up that I'm getting this mic thing. And it started from there because of me being on house arrest. And I showed everybody me being on house arrest. It just stripped me naked. And
So this woman
yeah,
randomly attacks you
yes,
in a casino,
yeah,
and
outside.
you wind up getting arrested.
Yes, outside the casino. She was someone that worked for a company and she put a ticket on my car. Then she was going through something mental, I found in the end.
So you learned that you have a passion for documenting your life.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I've been doing it a long time because me creating my barbecue sauces, learning how to do, I created that all by myself, just messing around. Me learning how to do sweet potato pies by myself, it just started making me write books down. I wrote my first book in 19, I think it was, no, I think it was in 2007, and I didn't realize I was documenting then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the name of your YouTube channel for our audience?
Dee said it. It's DD, it's DEE, another DEE, said it, SAIDDIT. So said
Sure.
it.
We'll link it in the comments. But so you open this YouTube channel.
Yes.
DD said it.
Yes.
You go by Queen. So
Yes.
why DD?
So what happened was before I opened up a restaurant, before my mom passed away, I started having a communication with her. About 2 years before she passed away, I started connecting with her, helping her get some things she needed medically. She ended up being diabetic. But anyway, and when I had this idea, because I started making conch fritters from scratch, conch fritters and conch salad, and she allowed me to sell it in front of her church, lights off, everything. She said, go ahead. And after a while, me starting in her little church in Boynton, I started like at her little church in Boynton, and then I moved from her church in Boynton. I was making like maybe $25 a night. And then I went in this another area in Delray, across from a church, Ridley Temple. They allowed me, as long as I gave a tip, to sell my comforters. And then I brought my father-in-law along, and we just started selling there. So people started calling me Conch Lady, and they said I was selling comforters in Conch Alley. Comforter Alley. So I kind of went from there and went up.
What's the number one thing you've learned by becoming a content creator?
Be me and don't change. And let me back up a little bit. For me, selling in the alley and then getting people to know who I was, my mom, I told her I was thinking about opening up a restaurant. And she told me, she said, you should name it Dee Dee. And I said to her, she said, you should name it Dee Dee. And I'm like, Dee Dee? Even though I used to always call myself Dee Dee. That used to be my stage name.
That was your stage name.
Because I didn't want the men to know my name, my real name. Yes.
Were you a dancer?
No, I just always told people Dee Dee.
Okay.
Yes.
That was just like your name to guys that were flirting with you.
Yes.
You are so silly.
Yes.
That's funny.
They say,
where on earth did you come up with Dee Dee?
I don't know, but let me tell you. So I don't know where I came up with Dee Dee, but I can tell you this. Yes. But when I told my mom that I was opening up this restaurant, my mom told me, she said, you should name it Dee Dee's. And then I was like, okay, but you hear people call me Dee Dee now. And she was like, no, when you were a little girl, your daddy used to call you Dee Dee. And I was saying to myself, this lady just tell me anything I can tell. Because I never heard of that. My mom was holding a letter from my dad where she wrote my dad like in 1989. And she told my dad, she say, so-and-so and so-and-so. And Dee Dee, ... And I didn't believe her when she first said it. So that's what made me say, Dee Dee it is. But I had already been calling myself Dee Dee.
So your mother called you Dee Dee in the letter to your father.
Yes, but she never even, no one ever told me that my name was Dee Dee.
But then you came up with that name separately.
Yes.
On your own.
Yes.
It must have been subconsciously planted.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, because I've always felt like I've always been guided and just.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what do you love most about sharing your story with the world, the way you do it every day with so many people?
What I love about sharing my story with the world is there's somebody out there that'll share a genuine story back to me. Because when I share my story, sometimes what I do when I talk to people and we having a genuine heart-to-heart conversation, it just is embedded in me, and we always have a different type of conversation. Even if it starts off funny, and it lets me show them that they can open up to me. And people normally open up to me when they see that I'm a regular person. I'm not from Saturn, really, but I think I am. But
tell me about this man's cave where you're the only woman in a YouTube conversation with, you said sometimes thousands of men show up.
Yeah.
What is that conversation about?
Me and them. And believe it or not, it's nothing about, oh, they're hitting on you or you're dating. None of that. It started off because, I don't know, I felt like somewhere in my life is somebody that I always type to. So I start understanding that, you know what, I don't have my daddy to talk to anymore. I haven't found a man that fit the bill where I could talk to them the way I used to do my dad and my brothers. We stay on the phone for hours and we don't ask us what we're talking about. So I never found anyone to do that. But one day something just said, just do your men only, because it was something I always wanted to do. Wanted to have a men only man cave with just me and the men, because that's who I always related to. So one day I went live, just out of the blue, I went live and I put men time, men. And I dropped the short and then I wrote men time. It wasn't the man cave then. And it was only me and one guy. His name is Jug. And Jug had been following. Jug, G-U-G-G. He had been following me since I only had 24 subscribers.
That's how it always happens.
And he followed me through the live.
I love that.
And it was just he and I, and he just showed me different things about the live. And then I dropped it again like a week later, and then I put the men time on there, and it took off from there.
So what are these men asking you in the live? Are they asking for advice?
Well, we're texting each other, because I started off as texting at first. So I'm talking live and they're just listening to me, and every comment that come in, I read every single comment. I wait for an answer.
Okay.
I don't type back.
Well, what's an example of a topic? What are you talking about?
I don't do topics at all. Men don't want to talk about topics. That's a woman's thing. Men want to talk about just whatever talked about.
So you just free flow it?
Yes.
Whatever's in your heart that day?
Yeah,
do you talk about sex, love, drugs, rock and roll?
Don't have to. Listen, when I do my men only, my man cave, I literally start off with me. Hey, men. This your girl, Queen Didi. You know what? Listen, let me tell y'all what happened to me today. And I tell them, honestly, that's how my day is because I feel like some parts of my YouTube channel is when I go in because I got certain things that I address on my channel. So I created my men only man cave because I can go and talk to them and vent. I can calm down because when I'm around men, I am very ladylike.
What is the biggest number of men that have shown up to the man cave?
About 1,000.
And
About 1,000 views.
what do you think they're getting out of it?
Conversation, someone that's really normal. You know, they get someone that they can look at. They often call me funny. I may talk to them sometimes, and it's not even just them I talk to. A lot of times I'm talking to myself. I might pick up the mic and say, "Hey, girl, you see yourself on the mic? I see myself. What you see about that self?"
I like that.
And
side.
I'm just me. And then if someone fly in, because I'm literally talking to myself, I might be talking out loud about something because I had never had really friends. Like I had friends, but I always felt like it was me and someone talking. So I took it to my camera, and then whatever man came in, whatever man come, whatever I'm talking about, and whatever questions, we go from there.
Do you think that being a live streamer on YouTube has helped heal some of the trauma from your past?
When I'm talking to my men, when I'm talking to my men, because I don't really go on there for my trauma like that. I go on there to address issues that is right and is wrong. And it's my views of
Well, there was one video you posted about the woman in the Gold's Gym in Los Angeles.
it. You seen that? Yes.
And she was a woman that went into the women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man,
Mm-hmm.
transgender,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt very violated because
Yes.
she was naked in the bathroom and she didn't really want to see a man.
Correct.
Genitalia.
Correct.
Even though he identifies as a woman.
Correct.
Where do you stand on that issue? Do you think she was right?
I stand firm that stay in your own lane. I stand very firm on that because as a woman, like I have no problems with you in your lifestyle. I have a problem when your lifestyle interferes with mine. It took growth. I say I'm a queen because it took growth for me to get out of the girl's stage. It took growth for me to get out of a woman stage, and it took growth for me to be a queen. So it's going to take growth for you to build your community and ride down your road. I'm not interfering in your lane. You can't have a kid like I have. I'm natural. You don't get a monthly like I do. I'm natural. You don't go through menopause like I do. I'm natural. You don't have the emotional connection like I do. I'm natural. Therefore, I would like you to let me be a woman in me. That's my lane. Just like you have to let a man be in his lane. And I feel like they're taking over lanes when people, if you stay in your lane, will drive better.
I think that we have to, there are people feel that identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect it, but with respect to the bathroom situation,
Correct.
just placing myself in that situation,
Correct.
it would make me uncomfortable.
Exactly.
So maybe we need a third restroom.
And that's what I'm saying, because listen.
Maybe we need a restroom for the men that identify as women, and they just need their own restroom because men may not feel comfortable being with a man that identifies as a woman in the bathroom either.
And guess what? And guess what that means? You're building your own lane because you feel that strong about it. First of all, don't hide your identity. To me, you're hiding your identity because if you know you want to be identified as, but you know the underlying identifier is transgender, that means you're standing firm on everything you did, including a process. So what do you need to do? You need to take affirmative action, and you need to start protesting, and you need to start suing these stores. Because first of all, make sure in your heart, you're really letting people know you're a man, or you're letting people know which sex you really are. Because some people, they're hiding it, and how they're hiding it is behind us. You can't shadow ban us. Stand firm.
Yeah.
Let people choose equally. So go in your bathroom. Everybody know who you are, just like you know I'm a woman.
Or they could just do a unisex bathroom.
That's it.
Advocate for one private unisex bathroom.
I go in there sometimes.
And leave it at that. I mean, those unisex
Yeah.
bathrooms at the airport are great,
That's
especially
right.
when you got to change or whatever, you need a little more space.
Exactly.
And
I have no problems
do you
with
think that the woman yelling in the Gold's Gym was appropriate when she went crazy in the gym?
Okay, so I want to touch on that a little bit. The reason why I want to touch on that is because it is a culture thing. It's a culture thing because I'm gonna back that up. It's not necessarily a culture thing. It is a culture thing. You know why? You know,
Sounds like a culture thing.
Listen, the reason why I'm gonna tell you it's a culture thing.
When you say culture, what culture are you referring to?
My black culture, my black culture, my black race.
Okay.
You know, the way we articulate, the way we speak.
So you're saying her reaction was an acceptable, socially appropriate based on the culture?
See, the problem with it was what they caught on videotape was her reaction after the fact. But what we need to go back to, I like to tell people, go back to the beginning of the story. She went to management. So when she had to yell out,
she did go to management,
correct.
And they wound up terminating her membership.
So they put her in a position to where, okay, you're not listening to me. Nobody is here listening to me. And that's where the problem comes in at when it comes to, I'm not going to hate to talk about race because I put it on the table. I have to be open. It comes down to a fact of being a black person, and on top of being black, a black woman. That right there plays a big part in the mistreatment that I stand firm for and I'm firmly against.
So you think because she was black, Gold's Gym treated her worse than if the victim in that situation had been a white woman?
Exactly. Even though I'm not saying, because there was a lot of white women that stood up for her. Her going there and complaining, especially if they didn't know whether she was a celebrity or not, or who she was, or even cared.
Right.
They would have handled that situation totally differently. I doubt that they would have just dismissed her like that. And right there, she got furious about that. And people don't understand how we are. Remember what I said from the beginning. When my daddy said it one time, it wasn't meant to be said again because you heard what I said. So when she went there, she looked for something to say, listen, not just because I'm black, not just because I'm a woman, but because I'm a woman. I'm in a woman's restroom. This man showing me his little pecker decker that we don't want to see with his little spidey whiteys on. You know, and I got to be ambushed like this. And here's the other thing about it,
I don't think her race matters. I think it's just very disrespectful to a woman. Well, she could be Asian. She could be any culture.
No, the race mattered after the fact to me. When you asked the question about her
reaction.
being right, that was after the fact. But I want to bring something to the table as well. She's also a lesbian. So it's not like she was a woman and she got offended on multiple levels. She got offended as being a woman. She got offended as being a lesbian because as a lesbian, she don't even want to see it. So if I don't want to see it as a heterosexual woman, so people not looking at the whole basis around it all.
I don't think her race, her sexual preference, I think the only factor that controls that situation is her sex. She's a woman.
Right.
And I don't think a woman should have to see a man's private parts when she's in a bathroom where she's taking her clothes off.
Correct. And I was just saying, well, we don't have to just look at it as her being a woman. There's other bullet points behind her being a woman that even offended her as well, is what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Now, when we go ahead to how she reacted on the inside of there, go back and look at the footage. How many people turned around to even act like they cared? Not even the policemen, none of them. But whoever recorded, and then there was a Caucasian guy, quite handsome and dapper he was. He looked at her, but nobody now. I feel if the shoe had been on the other side of the race, there would have been some reaction and attention.
Or maybe we should test that theory.
Or guess what?
Go undercover.
And I would love that too. Or guess what? Had I been there with her, I guarantee you, and I stood up, her and they would have thought we were fools and clowns. I said, wait till her and I get together because they're disrespecting her still on this story. And they do not want to see someone like her and I match up together because, again, right is right and wrong is wrong.
I think if you took a survey of 1,000 women, they would agree that was just wrong.
It was wrong, period.
So
and then the bullet points under it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I enjoy debating these issues, and my heart goes out to that woman. We should have her on as a guest.
I think so.
And get get her perspective because it's an interesting issue.
I would like to
Now,
talk to her.
you also, so I love how you're out there on your YouTube channel, you're responding, you're reacting to stories that are happening in the world. You're
Queen around the world.
You're talking to your men's cave, which, by the way, I'd like to get in on that men's cave too. I want to say hi.
We got to talk about that.
That
too.
sounds fun.
Yes, and
that
when
sounds fun.
And when you come in on the cave, listen, when you come in the cave, all my men, when my men come up and you walk in, you come in that cage, they say hello.
I'm sure
they
they're
love
perfect
the speed.
gentlemen.
Yes,
right?
they are. They are.
So we'll definitely have to go on. I can tell you really love your men.
I get upset with them too. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, they'll tell you, act sensational.
So if you were on a stranded island for 1 year, would you rather be with 10 women or 10 men to support you as your tribe, so to speak?
As long as they don't get all sexual with me and stuff like that, and they stay in the tribe the way they're supposed to be in the tribe.
You don't want them to be sexual?
I don't want to be with 10 men at a time. I don't even want to be. I don't even want to be with 10 of their tails in a year.
One. You could interview and
yeah,
pick
that's
one.
what I said. As long as they stay in the tribe the way they're supposed to be tribing,
yes,
then we will be good because that's what I need my house. Once
that's a good reality show.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Queen and her tribe.
That's
her male
right.
tribe.
Because I have a background that I want to make look with all my men. I want all my men sitting in like you in the pew, all of them sitting, and then I want to be the last one sitting in the back where they have to spot me sitting. I'm gonna say, "Yep, I'm watching all my men."
I think I'm seeing a vision for your future music video. You need to write some songs.
I got some already. Listen,
you sing?
No, I don't sing, but I dance.
I dance too. Yeah. I'm a great dancer.
Listen, you
got to
go
dancing together.
You got to look at these shorts and things like that because some of the shorts, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna do shorts. And I do certain things, and that's going to be a part of my male membership package.
Okay. What is your favorite genre of music?
If you want me to be honest with you.
No, I want you to lie to me. Of course, I want you to tell me the truth.
Well, I'm going to tell you an honest LIE. My favorite is Future.
Okay.
And it's one of the songs, it'll tell you in a minute, don't get too comfortable. And Future is, he got that beat. I don't even care about the words to no song because I love Kodak Black. I love, what is his name, Wapo or Guapo?
So you like rap?
I like all music. It's not the music that I listen to. It's really not the words. It's the beat. I'm more of a...
the rhythm.
Yeah. And long as it ain't too heavily
if you
profaned.
could meet one person, would it be Future? Is that who you want to meet? Is that your celebrity crush?
Why do I have to get one choice?
All right, take three.
Okay,
three celebrities.
If I had to meet one person, the first person that I would definitely need to meet is 50 Cent.
Okay.
Yes, I got to meet 50 Cent. Me and 50 Cent have a lot to talk about. I'm going to be quite honest with you.
Is this a romantic crush or a purely social objective?
I don't know what it'll be. Listen, I don't know what it'll be with 50 Cent.
All right, 50 Cent, if you're watching,
because 50 Cent,
come into the Laws of Life 227 Media Studio. We want to meet you.
Let me tell you, 50 Cent, because I think you got a buddy and friend, because you and I, we got some conversations to talk about Miss Oprah.
Okay. You have an issue with her or something?
Yes, Miss Oprah.
She offended you?
Every time I bring Oprah to the stage, Oprah run off to me. Like I'm talking to
Oprah Winfrey?
Yes, like I talk to my cast about things that she do. And I say, there go Oprah running off. I call it an Oprah track. I say, when I get to where I need to be, I'm going to get a pair of jogger pants that come down here, and it's going to call the Oprah track. Because Oprah don't sit around and answer no questions. Oprah don't bring her... Okay, I'm on somebody's platform. Hey, people, y'all, I'm not at home by myself. Anyway, Oprah do not hold herself accountable. Oprah don't hold herself accountable. Michelle don't. I have issues.
Michelle Obama?
Yes, so 50 Cent. 50 Cent I already know I've been calling
So you're not a fan of Oprah?
Why? Well, Oprah didn't help us.
Well, she's one of the greatest talk show hosts in the history of time, don't you think?
She might be the greatest in certain communities, but not in my community. She wasn't the greatest. She sold us out. She went up the ladder. We boosted her up the ladder, and she put her small 8 shoe on our head and never helped. And neither did Michelle.
What could she have done better to help? Because I'm fascinated by that statement, and I want to know more.
The first thing that she could have did to help, she went over to Africa, and no offense to you, Africa, you all know how I am on my channel. So listen, she went over to Africa, and she opened up a school. But what did that school really do for any Africans that were here in America? Because there were Africans here in America.
Presumably nothing, because it's in Africa.
And not only that,
I'd have to learn more, but yeah.
Speculated, a lot of those girls were over there being trafficked and molested. And there's plenty of videos of it.
Okay.
And she had a problem with Do you not know that her and Whoopi Goldberg, they literally just spoke since The Color Purple?
Well, we're definitely going to have more conversations. And one of my personal visions, as I told you, is that I would like to see celebrities
That's right.
help regular entrepreneurs rise.
That's it.
And I think that's what empowerment is.
That's right.
And that's why one of my dreams is to have more shows on a larger scale, bringing in celebrities, business people, real estate people, entrepreneurs, podcasters, influencers together so that we can all win. And I know you're in the vision with me, right?
Yeah, I'm in the vision. If you look at my channel, I used to do a small channel talent search, and I see creativity in so many of these channels. I was paying them $100 a week, and you know what I told you, YouTube don't pay me. And I was making sure that I scratch up that money. I was making sure that I send them that money, and I would pay, because what I see in creativity, other people may not see it. And I'm saying to myself, if I can come on YouTube and see the creativity, matter of fact, I don't even have to be on YouTube to see creativity. I see creativity in so many different things, because I could take this plant behind me and I'll wrap that plant around my head in creativity, y'all. And guess what? It's how I feel, it's what I see. And for me to see so many of our billionaires so far away in the businesses that they support, I really never see the businesses or even know that they're supporting the businesses. It's like, okay, can you take the billions? How much are you going to leave your children? But even if you can, even if you are focused on your children, there's nobody else you can, out of a zip code in the state of Florida, there's not one family that you can reach into that house and help. That boosts the community up. And I'm so disappointed in our Black supremacy. That's Black supremacy. Gatekeepers.
Celebrity supremacy. I mean, it's not
All of
necessarily any particular race.
Well, it is.
It's just when I think we need more communication between the people that have achieved the highest levels of success and keep them connected to community.
But here's the thing.
And they may be connected, but we just don't know.
But here's the thing. The reason why the conversation will come on a different side from you and I, because as a Black person, and if there was 25,000 other Black people in the room with me, they would also call it Black supremacy. You know why? Because we know that we help you get to the top. But we also know that you took a role in a supremacy type title, defined as whatever you define supremacy is, but we know you did it as a Black person, and you knew you were supposed to come back and help us. You knew, and we've seen it.
It's so, I get it. I mean, you've had, this is something you've reflected on. You feel this.
Because I grew up in it. I grew up in it. And listen, I grew up in the Black, I'm Black. So I grew up with us watching them sky pass us. We watched them on TV. We promoted them, but we've been disconnected from Oprah. Oprah know that. Why do you think you barely see her with Blacks? You barely see her recording.
I haven't seen her much.
Me either. We don't watch her.
Over the last years.
We didn't watch her since NBC.
I mean, I think some of the laws of life to learn from this are that if you are at a point at the highest level of success, you want to demonstrate how you are helping community, and then give new people in the community opportunities to connect. Maybe it's having a scholarship program, a talent competition, something that brings community in.
Anything, any talent you can see. Because you know what? Even on my channel, and I'm going to continue to do things like this, because I already know where I'm going at. Because where I'm at in my life, there's nobody that can keep me down there, because God has flipped this earth on the other side with hell sitting on top. Why you think our millionaires sitting down there trying to budget? At the end of the day, because we are learning it's not about money. But I can tell you what I do, and I'm embedded to it, and this is my left hand on my heart yet again. And my channel know who I am and how and why. I leave breadcrumbs. Sometimes if I look in my chat and I see, I've been on chat, for an example, 1 hour and 11 minutes. I'll tell them, here's my hand. Anybody that put a 1 in the chat, anybody that put a 0 in the chat right now, anybody that put a 5 in the chat, when I make it to the top and you bring me back this video, I will pay you 2 times the reward.
I love that.
And put that 5 in the chat. And I drop breadcrumbs like that. You know why? Because you can hold that up in court. Then that's still me giving back to someone. And then I give them a time frame. You got 30 seconds to put that in the chat. But I already know where I'm going to go at. I know I know where I'm destined to be. But you drop little bread, they can't come back in their chat and drop breadcrumbs for people. That $200 you might give someone might be the meal for Thanksgiving for them.
Yeah.
Those are gifts that you give back to people. Just give it to them.
It's tough because there's just so many people in the world that
You don't have to
need
worry about
help.
so many. You
How
just give it to one. Listen, if I tell someone this now, why do I need to worry about the world? I know I fulfilled a piece of the world. All you need to do is fill a piece of the world. I don't
help
need
the people that come into your journey.
Right. Just give, and listen, just give someone something. Today, I walked in Walmart this morning. The only bills I had left was $4. I just turned around. The lady, all she do is watch you scan your stuff to make sure you don't steal. I
Right.
turned around and gave her $2. And as I walked out the door, I gave another lady $2. They didn't even know why. I didn't either. I know it was my last $4, and I just gave it away. Sometimes you
That's
could
good
just give
luck.
someone.
That brings you good luck when you do things like that.
So anything you do,
Always going to bring you good luck.
you don't
when
have
you
to always
spread love, show love.
Exactly. And you don't have to always document it. So for them to help, they have to document it. No, you're covering up your money because you're not sharing the right way.
But we may not know. Maybe they are sharing, but they haven't communicated it.
Well, it's a lot of us looking around and don't feel the sharing.
Well, then we need to do something about
Exactly.
that. We need to make that a thing.
And that's the
and
thing.
we need to bring more awareness to community connection.
So for me, what I'm doing, I'm not even worried about the billionaires because it's going to come a time where your paper currency isn't going to do anything for you, but have you wallow in it, and it'll get old as well. Maybe you can use it for toilet tissue.
Right.
But what I do is how I'm connecting you. I know see, I'm keeping it cool.
So
right?
what you're saying is
I help
money,
people. Help people.
Let's fast forward 5 years.
Okay.
As we come to the close of this particular conversation, which is the many more in the future. But let's say you could pick your exact vision coming true 5 years from today. What does that look like? Who do you want to be in 5 years?
If I get to 1 year, because I'm skipping the line. I'm confirmed to skip the line. So 5 years, I'll be sitting back somewhere saying, okay, give them this, give them that, or they'll already know how to connect. I'll be somewhere in 5 years. 5 years so far away from me until in 5 years they gonna have already mastered the money paper side of it. We're gonna be up in the air with crypto. That's what's gonna happen.
But
and I'm
who
gonna
are
teach
you
them how to
going to
do
be?
it.
So you're teaching.
I'm teaching him.
You're teaching them how to make money with crypto.
Teaching them how to make their own money. I'm teaching you that if you got the faith and it's something that you want to do, all we have to do is get started with it. Don't worry about the money. Just get started with it right now. Don't worry because you see billionaires with their billions. Remember, billions came so limited until we might do away with billions.
So you have a passion to help others grow wealth.
I can't do nothing other than that because I had to grow well. But why should everybody else grow well the way I grow well? Right now, we flipping this earth on the other side. It's time for us to go grow well in a different way.
And last but definitely not least, what is your number one law of life?
My number one law of life, I got to get just one.
Yes.
My number one law of life, I'm going to start to the bottom. And I'm going to say my number one law of life is to always be me.
Well, you've definitely taught me that this week, because that is an important law of life. Well, I encourage everyone to follow you, Queen, because you have a gift of connection. You really speak from the heart, and I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I hope everyone out there learned the law of life. I know I did. Thanks for watching the Laws of Life podcast. We'll see you next time.